In this Analyst report, I will be reviewing the learning technology platform called Nearpod and its potential investment opportunities. Nearpod is a presentation tool that teachers can use to deliver slides, videos, and various highly engaging interactive experiences directly to their students' devices. Now, the company was started in 2012 by three Argentinians, Emiliano, Guido, and Felipe. All of them have a strong business background and previous experience with startups. In addition, they each bring their own expertise to the company, with Emiliano having previous teaching experience, Guido contributing his marketing skills, and Felipe bringing his knowledge of management. As of June 2015, Nearpod was reaching over 2 million students per month with a K-12 market focus. It's also won numerous awards, including one from the National School Board Association. Nearpod generates its revenue from two main sources. First is the sales of their subscriptions to individual teachers, schools, and districts. And the second is the sale of pre-created lessons. Now, at its core, Nearpod is a student response system, and there are many out on the market today. However, only a few offer the slide presentation format that delivers content directly to the students' devices. Top Hat and Pear Deck are their main competitors, with Top Hat focusing on the higher education market and Pear Deck on the K-12. When we look at the two major competitors, the basic offerings are initially not much different from each other. Each allows the instructors to include a variety of questions. Both Pear Deck and Nearpod allow instructors to add web content, and all three have a reporting feature. One negative feature with Nearpod is the inability to add questions during class. However, Nearpod is the only one that allows you to deliver a student-paced lesson which can be taken in or out of the class. This allows for a flipped classroom model to be used, for absent students to view a missed lesson, or for students to review the material before a test. The other difference between the platforms is their pricing models. Nearpod and Pear Deck are very similar in their yearly subscription fees, and both have a free for basic usage option. Top Hat is free for instructors to use, but they do charge a student fee. Now, if we look at the financial information of each company provided by the site Owler, you can see that Nearpod is the clear winner with $3 million more in earnings than Top Hat, even though Top Hat raised $5 million more in equity funding and has been around for an additional 3 years. The main downside with Top Hat is the fact that it doesn't allow for the teachers to trial the software on their own and then go to administration with an institutional licensing request. The institution needs to make the decision to use the platform as a system-wide initiative first, and also ask their students to pay additional fees on top of already inflated tuition costs, something students may not be very happy to do and may opt out of if it's not mandatory. It also doesn't allow for individual teachers to pay out of their own pocket to use the platform, nor for the students to use the platform for their own presentations. That may explain some of the difference between Nearpod and Top Hat's earnings, but what about Nearpod and Pear Deck? Pear Deck has a very similar pricing structure to Nearpod, but it isn't seeing the same level of revenue either. So what makes Nearpod stand out from the rest and a viable investment opportunity? The first thing is access, and the next is flexibility. These are two main differences with the Nearpod experience. Students' access is straightforward with Nearpod. They only need to enter a PIN shared by their teacher or go directly to the lesson if it's been embedded in a website. Top Hat and Pear Deck require logins by the students, and for Pear Deck it needs to be a Google account. In the primary education sector, this is pretty much narrowing their market opportunities to schools that are using Google Classroom. Requiring no login or passwords for the students means there are no prior setup required. It also means less interruptions in the class, which allows for more learning time. Teachers also have 3 ways to sign up for a Nearpod account, whereas with Top Hat and Pear Deck, they only have 1. As well, Nearpod allows you to upload files to a lesson from your computer and various cloud services. Top Hat and Pear Deck are more limited. But Nearpod's success is not just about access and flexibility. There are also some features that Nearpod has recently added which are providing more interactivity and engagement to their lessons. They now have a collection of 100 3D objects which students can interact with. Teachers can also add one of over 100 pre-created Microsoft Sway presentations or add one of their own. This is the first time that Microsoft has given another company access to the SWAY application programming interface, which says a lot about their trust in the success of the Nearpod platform. Another great feature is Field Trip. Students can visit various destinations like the Pyramids of Giza, the Great Wall of China, or even Mars. Nearpod was recognized in the 2016 Horizon K-12 report as being the first publicly available virtual reality tool for schools. It also stated that virtual reality can help overcome some of the shortcomings in STEM education. Being the first to offer VR in the classroom is a massive advantage in the learning technologies market. As reported by TechCrunch, the virtual reality market is expected to grow to a $15.9 billion industry by 2019. And part of this growth will be in education. Now, as mentioned previously, Nearpod focuses on the K-12 market and specifically in the United States. With the introduction of its newest features like virtual reality, the penetration in that sector will only continue to grow. However, there are other markets it can look to for even more prosperity. As reported by Fortune, educational technology spending will be reaching $19 billion at a global level by 2019, with $4 billion of that being from the United States. That means there is a $15 billion international market to dip into. Part of the market would be in the higher education sector, both in the U.S. and internationally, with more than 90% of higher education students owning a smartphone in most developed countries. Introducing interactive platforms like Nearpod is becoming easier and, as well, more expected. The corporate sector has also not been focused on by Nearpod. According to Forbes magazine, in 2014, $70 billion was spent on corporate training in the U.S. alone, and over $130 billion worldwide. Tapping into this market is also a viable option. And it is not only corporate training that can take advantage of this interactive platform, but meetings and presentations as well. With its partnership with Microsoft already established, there is a potential for them to transition into other aspects of the Microsoft company. With their implementation of the 3D objects, Microsoft Sway, and virtual reality tours, I believe Nearpod is in line with where educational technology is heading and will continue seeing growth and success. It's definitely a platform venturers and investors should be interested in. By researching the potential investment opportunities in Nearpod, I've come to realize that there are several areas that all venturers need to consider when developing their own product or service. Your pricing strategy is extremely important. If you want to ensure that you reach a large market, then you need to make sure your product is available to as many people as possible and not just large institutions. As well, you need to ensure access to your product or service is easy and flexible. Giving choice to your customers may win them over. Finally, even though you may have a specific market in mind when starting out, you should always investigate the potential for expanding in other sectors.